live here in Eddie's house over in Melbourne, Australia. We're just chilling in his lazy river. He owns this entire river, as you can imagine. That's how he has so much money for StarCraft.
It's the OSC River, mate.
Exactly. Oh, it's beautiful. Let's float on by. We are here continuing on carrying the torch from Wardy's stream with the OSC Championship, number 9, or season 9, I suppose. I am, of course, your host, Yakuzaku, and with me, I thought you were going to respond to that.
I was going to, but I realized you didn't introduce me yet, so I'm like, okay.
Alrighty then. And with me today is el recortador de bonsais que entrena a los ganadores, like _VIP. How we doing, Light? And what were you gonna respond with?
What's up, Yaku? And I was just about to say, massive shout out to Wardy TV, as Wardy was covering the majority of day 1 of the OSC Championship, as you were saying. He covered 7 best of 5s. That's a lot of best of 5s. And we have 5 more best of 5s to go. Oh my god.
And that's day 1.
That's yep, that is gonna be day 1. I'm not too sure how many. I mean, if I was looking at the Wikipedia page earlier, this tournament is gonna go on for the entire month. It's a massive bracket. Yeah. It's gonna be insane.
Absolutely is. Especially since we're gonna be getting some wildcards over from the group stage, aren't we?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Compete in the lower bracket. I call them wildcards, but really, it's kind of like an up and down sort of bracket. Or not a bracket, but a group, I suppose.
Yeah, exclamation B in the chat if you want to have a look at the Wikipedia page. Like, there are a lot of tabs going on. There's a lot that went into this. Of course, if you're unfamiliar, OSC is an organization that has been kind of funding tournaments for an incredibly long time, for many, many years now. They started off running their own events, and in the end, they partnered with a bunch of other organizers, and all of these tournaments that have been running for the entirety of 2021 have been providing OSC points, and here it is, basically the World Finals for online tournaments in a way.
Pretty much. I like that distinction.
Mm-hmm.
We have our yearly World Finals here for, obviously, just the OSC stuff.
Which is everything.
Pretty much nowadays, you'll be hard pressed to find some kind of online event that isn't in some way partnered with OSC.
Yeah. Like if they could get ESL, they would, but it's either.
Oh, ESL, Eddie's trying to negotiate for that right now.
100%, man.
100%.
It's either ESL or OSC. So yeah, there's plenty of matches to be had, and I did see that Wardy was talking about it earlier. We have a spicy TvZ, and then we have nothing but PvP afterwards.
Oh yeah, that's why we wanted to jump on the series in particular. Day number 2, where you're like, I can't keep going. It's like, no, give us the PvPs.
Yeah,
you deserve a break. It's your birthday tomorrow.
True.
Hey, birthday, I forget, Wardy.
Oh my god, yeah. I mean, that's something that we should remind everyone, especially because Wardy just gave us a massive raid. Thank you so much, Wardy. If you're a fan of Wardy, he probably talked about it. If he didn't, shame on you. But it's Wardy's birthday in like 24 hours or something. Like, it's right around the corner. It's in less than 24 hours. Yeah,
I'm trying to do the math here on British time for the conversion rate. It's +8 from where I'm from. Or no, -8 from where I'm from.
Yeah, like...
regardless, it's soon.
Yeah, 6 hours. So, everyone, in 6 hours, give Wardy some love. It's gonna be his birthday.
And that's why we didn't want him to start with the PvPs.
Yeah, that's why we didn't give him any of the Happy birthday, Wardy! You don't have to cost all the PvPs. Happy birthday, mate.
We got you.
We got you.
But of course, we're talking a lot about the PvPs, and they are to come. But before all of that happens, we're kicking things off spicy. We're kicking things off with a match that has no Protoss players in it.
You're not wrong, mate. You're not wrong. We're going to be diving into Europe versus Korea here with ByuN versus a player who has a very controversial name. There are some people who may be unfamiliar with him. Be like Rattata, What is going on right now? Are we in another Wardy like Pokemon TCG stream? Like, what's going on? I don't know what happened, but Vanya did decide to change his name.
Yes. Here we have Rattata, or the player formerly known as Vanya.
Yeah, shaking my head. I mean, we have opinions about that here on this channel. We have opinions.
And we know we're not the only ones.
Yeah.
That very first tweet he made announcing the name change.
Shaking my head.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, for those wondering, like Vanya was such a good name. Fun fact, even before, it was like a couple of days before he had the name change, we were actually talking about Vanya. We were talking about his name as well. Not his name specifically, but just about him.
Well, him in general.
Yeah, and then he comes out with the name change. It's like, mate, I get it. I'm pretty sure Vanya was a part of his like just IRL name, so it's not the most creative name, but it's unique from where we're from, at least, and it was good.
Here's the thing that gets me about Rattata, again, formerly known as Vanya.
Yeah.
When he announced the name change, he did say something along the lines of, I want to have a name that can really represent who I am and, all the skills that I have to offer. I gotta go with the first Pokemon you ever catch. That I think is the confusing part for me.
Like, if he wins like a big tournament, like a premier event, like, is he gonna change into Raticate? Is that what's happening? Is that...
Ooh, I like that idea.
I mean, is that a good thing? Raticate's not the most appealing Pokemon.
Well, it isn't, but I do like the idea of him just evolving from there.
Maybe the Alolan Raticate. Maybe.
Exactly. And we've had Meowmika Lair going to Meowmika Hive before. We've had numerous players who've done stuff like that.
Yeah.
The names.
We'll see. We'll keep an eye on him. Oh god,
but doing that regardless.
Yes. Regardless, we were just filling a bit of time. Our players were conducting their vetoes. We are here on the American server for equal ping, and now we are getting ready to dive on into our first series of the night.
Indeed, we are. Series which, based on the players we've got here, I think we're gonna have to savor while we have it.
Yes.
No matter how long or short, most likely short, the series is going to go. Could be a full 5-game series, and it'll still be about 25 minutes long.
Yeah. We gotta cherish our Terrans and Zergs while we can. Feels bad, man. I love it. Rhyme Sayer in the chat, he's like, actually the best present possible. I know, we have to we have to shoulder the burden of all the PvPs.
Do it for him.
Oh god.
Alrighty then. Well, kicking off our very first best of 5 of the evening, we're going to be jumping straight into Berlingrad LE. We're in the top left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the top left-hand corner. We have our blue Terran player coming down from the land of Korea, staying up till it's almost about to be 3 a.m. there or something along those lines. Pretty regular hours for him. Representing Shopify Rebellion, he is ByuN.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Berlingrad LE, we have the Russian Zerg player, previously known as Vanya, but now representing Good Game Gaming as Rattata.
That's actually a nice repetition from Good Game Gaming to Rattata.
Rattata.
That's a nice little flow going on there.
Yeah, I mean... Look, we'll get used to it. Oh, God. Hopefully he doesn't turn into someone like, I don't know, someone like Special, where they change their...
his name every season.
Yeah, every season they just come out with it. Oh my god, this man wants to go to bed.
Really does. Can we see a third Rex coming out here from this SCV? And we do get a 3 Rex opening in a TvZ, which is a little bit more left field.
It really is. So you were just talking about this, and I was talking about it in the chat earlier as well before we went live. Of course, here it's pretty late in the day. Yaku, he's from Southeast Asia. In Singapore, it's like 2 a.m. where you are, or 1 a.m., something like that. Here
150, if we want to be precise.
150 there. Yeah, there you go, there you go. Here it's about to be 5 a.m. in Australia, and obviously in Korea it's about to be 3 a.m. and ByuN wants to go to bed, mate. He's like, let's get this over with, mate. Let's go.
3 racks Reaper, kind of his forte back in the day, but has dropped off quite a bit. Still something you can do very, very well on a short map like Berlingrad to end the game quickly.
Yeah, and so far this hasn't really gone scattered. What's interesting is that Rattata, he did go for his Overlord towards the main base, not towards the natural, so he's still a little bit in the dark. First Reaper does show up, but again, nothing too crazy at the moment is being shown. Everything is still looking pretty standard.
Now here comes the tip-off, or pretty soon, with that second Reaper right in front of the Queen.
Exactly, second Reaper does show up. The Queen is already taking a lot of damage here, and Rattata needs not just to make another Queen, but needs to make another wave of links as well. He was just joining up. Oh god.
And the Queen does go down, and it's always a treat to watch ByuN juke and jive with his Reapers back and forth to just retarget or force to retarget from his opponent's Queens.
Yeah, and again, what's important is that we are on the NA server, so this isn't the best server for Micro for Rattata either.
All of the links are about to get shaven off. Most of the Reapers still survive, and that Queen is getting dangerously low.
Mate, Link's
for Rattata.
Yeah, Link speed is
cannot confuse themselves.
Link speed is so far away. The second Queen falls. The boys are forced off the line as well, and there's nothing to stop these Reapers. Again, Link speed is so far away.
Finally, some drones are starting to go down. It's going to go into a whole thing of like, well, at least Rattata hasn't really been taking economic damage, but yeah, just the sheer fact that he's forced to remake all of these things is crippling his economy already.
Yeah, it really is. Like, again, like you want to be droning up from here. To be fair, like he's banking up a lot of links and he's getting ready to go for a massive surround as soon as link speed kicks in. We'll see if ByuN can shave off enough links before that happens and if he has good enough micro to avoid that surround.
Yeah, he really wants to keep a couple of grenades handy here, just in case the links do get a surround like so! Oh no.
Oh actually, my god,
they were about to, but
the jukes are just too good. Finally, everything gets surrounded, but I mean, maybe I spoke too soon. Well, oh my god.
And most of the army gets surrounded, not quite everything, and he's still able to make it out with a decent number of his Reapers still alive. Finally, it's gonna get cleaned out.
Are we speaking too soon? The links are all gonna get cleaned up, mate.
Too soon. When we said finally things are getting cleaned up, we meant that from both sides.
Oh god, ByuN juked Rattata so hard there, and he escapes with 2 of his Reapers. Obviously, he wasn't able to end the game, but he got all the Queens earlier. Quickly checking the units lost. 4 Queens went down. 43 Lings died. That's
a high number.
That's a lot of
10
Lings.
Reapers, that's a pretty high number too, but not at all comparable to the amount of Lings that have gone down from the side of Rattata. Not to mention, behind all of this, ByuN was getting his own expansions ready. He's working on Cert CC. He finished up his second orbital command quite a while earlier on.
Yeah.
He's technically ahead in the economy when we factor in mules.
Yep, and now we have to bear in mind what Rattata's response is here, because he is not droning up. He made another massive wave of Lings. We see a scan as well to confirm whether or not they're even... Oh, he wanted to see the Lings, but Rattata, smartly, he does avoid them for a little bit longer, but he's about to show up. Bailing Nest just finished.
I think this is just about the best case scenario for Rattata, or the best thing he can really do.
Yeah. I mean, there's no tanks, there's no Widow Mines, like the factory production has been delayed by quite a bit, so there's not a lot to help deal with the Ling Bane.
Yeah, pretty much the only thing he really has to worry about are these KD8 charges, these Reaper grenades. But already he's able to shave off quite a lot of Lings of ByuN. Still ahead, but this is definitely a start.
Oh god, exactly. Meanwhile, there's only 2 Banelings remaining. They want to get into a mineral line, they want to deal some damage. Hellions pop out, but no, on the wrong side of the factory.
Immediately they will get taken out. ByuN still has quite a number of Reapers though. He can still kite these. He's starting to use his SCVs as a little bit of a buffer with good enough placement in micro. I still think ByuN will have the advantage. Marines are starting to pop out.
Yeah, Marines are popping out. Hellions finally pop out as well. And it looks like ByuN is going to be able to hold for now. But we still have nothing but Lings just rallying across the map.
Yeah, and there's no wall available anymore. Those Banelings made short work of that. It's a pretty good surface area denial. This is very good surface area denial.
Jesus Christ. And in the end, it looks like Rattata realizes that he can't really end the game here. He's starting to drone up back at home. He does get the Hellion, but again, he just cannot get us around on these Marines. And that Marine can't, it's gotten to the point where it's too much to really handle. He even has Stim.
I want to point out that ByuN has only lost 3 Marines throughout all of this.
What? Oh no!
And that's kind of the most important unit that he's got. At the moment, another wave of Banelings are going to look to crash in. And there's honestly not a lot of area for ByuN to split to, but again, these are still slow Banes.
Yeah, exactly. How good is the micro going to be here from both of our players? The Hellions, they want to try and kill these Banelings as best they can before they connect with anything, and it looks like the control is pretty good enough, and none of the... we had some decent connections from the Banelings.
Yeah, I think one Baneling did connect, and that's enough to give Rattata a little bit of momentum. Any other player, I would say that's enough for Rattata to overwhelm, but not ByuN, as he takes game number 1.
Made the Reapers at the start of the game.
Oh, man.
It's obviously...
0x Reaper in 2022?
Obviously, it's one of the things where, you know, it's the NA server. Both players are playing with high ping, but I think it does favor the Korean player a little bit here. So, oh wow,
yeah, Korea is definitely at least a little bit closer to, the west coast of North America than Russia is, and by Russia I mean, you know, the main area of Russia, right? The Russia that's in Europe. We have had a couple of players from Vladivostok or Eastern Russia play before, and they do prefer US West, or actually even Korea, just because of how close it is. But and that's why we're going to be switching to US Central for our next server.
Yes, yes. For those wondering, we're going to be alternating between West and Central throughout this series, so it makes a lot of sense for ByuN to take advantage of that in game number 1. Here in game number 2, likelihood of him doing that on Central isn't going to be anywhere near as high, because playing on Central with like 200 plus ping is, it can be brutal.
He does try every now and then, but yeah, I doubt he'll do it in the actual playoff bracket now, as we load into 2,000 atmospheres. LE, we're in the top right-hand corner map, starting all the way in the top right-hand corner. We have a blue Terran player coming out from the land of Korea. He, of course, is going to be representing Shopify Rebellion once again. He is ByuN.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of 2,000 atmospheres LE, we have the Russian Zerg player representing Good Game Gaming. GGG. It is Rattata. Uh-oh.
Rattata is angry now. I got excited when I saw the double gas. I got even more excited when I saw the double gas cancel.
Yeah, we were talking
about
it. We were
full excitability.
Yeah, we were talking about it before, about how, as much as we love TvZ, looking at these two players, it probably wasn't going to be a long series.
Cherish it while we can.
Cherish it while we can. We do have a proxy hatch on the way here from Rattata. He is finally taking his gases, so he does intend to invest into, I imagine, roaches. We'll see. We'll see what his plan is here, and also whether ByuN gets sight of this at some point, and whether he goes across the map with an SCV.
That's what we're going to be keeping all of our eyes on as I stare at that mini-map. He's skipping out the Reaper. No.
Yeah. This is best case scenario for Rattata. ByuN is being so greedy right now, going for Marine first instead, which means, again, that scouting information is going to be that much later.
Probably too late, depending on how... There's that Roach Warren.
Yeah.
This is definitely going to be too late. Unless ByuN suddenly thinks, you know what? I'm skipping out on my scouting. I may as well play safe and get a bunker. But how often do we really see that as from our Korean Terran players in particular?
Exactly. Like, there's no reason for it. For ByuN, he's just not that kind of player. I mean, when the Marines pop out, they should be moving out to catch an Overlord, as we can see the rally, right? And he should spot the creep. Should? Let's find out. He does. He sees.
He does. What is the response? So, the roaches are already about a quarter way done. He's getting a bunker on the low ground, which, you know, if he's thinking that it's going to be spine crawlers and lings. This is what you want to do, but we know that's not going to be lings.
This is a bold move, mate. Typically a bunker on the high ground. Once the CC is done, you just lift it and you give up on the low ground. And this is what I'm talking about. Like, this bunker is not going to finish. Ugh.
That bunker's not going to finish. I highly doubt this one is as well. Okay, it might now, thanks to the wall off, but ByuN is playing a very risky game. He's pulling his boys, and he's losing a lot of them. He knows that he can afford the losses, though, since Rattata is still on one base.
Yeah. I mean, Rattata is all in. Like, his worker count is incredibly low. Of course, we're going to have mules available for ByuN. There we go. Finally, he is opting to hold at his main base, and this bunker will finish. Is it going to be enough, though?
And ByuN always wants to play with fire here. I could load up into my bunker, you know, I could just wait here and wait for you to come into me, or I could just try to shave off as much of your health as possible, and then we fight.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, ByuN, he's almost supply blocked at this point as well due to losing his deepers. He's pulling all the boys. He does have a Cyclone and some decent target fire here. He is able to take out 2 of these Ravagers.
And it looks like despite the ping disadvantage, he still wants to force a battle here, and he's still winning the battle.
Yeah. I mean,
but perhaps not the war.
That was insane target fire again. He just keeps killing the Ravagers. My God.
And once again, he's kept a lot of his Marines alive. Sure, they're not key units like these, or they're not exactly the backbone of the army like these Cyclones are, but they still stack up very, very well. Yeah. Especially in defense.
Exactly. I mean, already he just snipes another Roach, snipes another Ravager as well. Like, his control has been insane. Has to be careful about losing the Cyclone. Oh, God!
Especially doesn't want to body block them against the Marines. Losing 2 Cyclones just like that is a little bit scary, but he has dealt with the Overlord. He has dealt with a lot of the Ravagers and the Roaches. So I think ByuN is still fine. I mean, still producing off of 2 command centers.
Yeah, he's in an okay position. Finally, we see a Deeper. Like, he's been stuck at 30 supply for a while now due to the fact that he lost 2 of his Deepers earlier. And losing those Cyclones, as you mentioned, was huge. Like, if he had 2 Cyclones right now, I think ByuN holds easily, but they just keep getting reset.
Cancel that. Oh, that was a kill and not a cancel. ByuN is gonna lose a little bit of money in addition to continuing to be supply blocked.
Yeah, ByuN just needs a Deeper. Like, he can't produce anything. He has another Cyclone on the way, but he just can't start it.
A little bit distracted here, and the majority of his SCVs are trying to juke and jive a little bit. Finally, a depot is in production in the back of his mineral lines, but feels like that should have been here 30 seconds ago.
Yeah, I mean, he was being really greedy. Oh my God, the mule block! Oh my God!
Absolute massive brain play here coming out from ByuN, but he almost loses his entire army to try to fight that.
Wow.
At the very least, the Cyclone is still alive, and he still has Marines in the bunker.
Mate, he sniped the Ravager as well. Barely he was able to snipe it. I love the use of the mule as well. The mule survived, by the way. It's back to mining. Somehow he got out of there. And now that depot is done, now finally ByuN can produce units.
I'm so glad I was able to cast that at least once in my life. ByuN's Reaper blocks are something that you almost always see. Or, it's a fairly common sight, but I've never been able to actually see that while I'm casting in the game until now.
Yeah, and we were talking about it. Now we have 2 Cyclones, and with 2 Cyclones, again, you cannot afford to have those lock-ons finish. ByuN supply blocked once again, unfortunately. Oh God. He has to work on that. But finally, does start that 3rd Cyclone. Move command.
Regardless, that move command a little bit questionable. He does get a little bit closer to this Cyclone. Can he snipe it? He does. But this time, ByuN has a backup Cyclone and another backup on the way.
That was a desperate move there by Rattata to just run past the bunker. So much damage was done. GG gets called, and ByuN takes game number 2.
Wow.
Mate, the mule block.
Still target firing. Still target firing and mule blocking and body blocking his heart out, despite the ping disadvantage. That's ByuN for you.
Yeah, honestly, I'm shocked just because, like, he was supplied book for so long that game. Like, it was insane. I apologize. I didn't realize that apparently Rattata was also supply block there. We were focusing a lot more on ByuN and his defense.
Yeah, that comes back to all of those target fires once again, and as important as it was to snipe all those Ravagers, I think the winning maneuver there from ByuN was sniping the Overlords in the end.
Jesus. With that, we're already getting into game number 3. I
Also,
also...
this be the last game. It's our only non-PvP matchup.
True.
It's our only non-mirror matchup.
Please give us more games, please.
Come on, Rattata.
Give your energy to Rattata right now. And as we give energy to him, I did also want to give a quick shout out to Grape Dactyl in the chat, because he did resub for 4 months in a row. Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a whole bunch here. Quack.
Quack.
Crack.
Quack.
There we have it. Thank you once again, Grape Dactyl, as we load into Curious Minds LE. We're in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in the bottom right-hand corner. Got a blue Terran player about to be 12 pooled, coming out from the land of Korea, representing Shopify Rebellion. He is ByuN.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner, not just going for a 12 pool, this was a 12-11. I'm pretty sure. My god. You rarely see this in this matchup. We have the Russian Zerg player representing Good Game Gaming. It is Rattata.
Show me what you've got, Rattata. I love it. After 2 games in a row of ByuN holding against his aggression, or I guess you can make the argument in Berlingrad he didn't want to play aggressive, but his hand was kind of forced. He still decides to go for a 12-11 on game 3.
Yeah, it's crazy. Absolutely insane. So I've seen this plenty of times in ZvZ. In ZvT, maybe once, if that. I recall seeing it in at least one other matchup, but yeah, bold move here by Rattata as he does not pull out of gas and he is going for that Bailey Nest.
Oh, and he actually might not really need it. ByuN, he doesn't have a wall, and he's expanding on the low ground.
Oh, and he's again skipping the Reaper. This madman, he's so greedy. To be fair, again, we didn't really get too much time to talk about game number 2, where ByuN again skipped his Reaper, skipped the SCV scout, who was being as greedy as possible, and he's doing the same thing here. So this is always best case scenario for Rattata, but ByuN's control is just out of this world.
Well, we'll see if he's able to. We'll see how much that control can really do when he is still overwhelmed with only 2 Marines, or most likely 6 by the time this hits, I think.
Yeah.
No, Rattata just going straight for it, not going to be building bait. Okay, never mind. Testing the waters a little.
Bailey Nest is done, so we should see a couple of Bailings on the way. This is going to give ByuN a little bit more time to recognize what's going on. He's going to move down with his Marines, and will he spot this? Up! He does!
He does! He even sees the Banelings in production, but Rattata sees the Marines as well. He pounces straight on top of these initial Marines. Bunker is on the way, but still far from finished.
Oh,
4 Banelings should be enough to take out this bunker.
Yeah, 100%. The bunker goes down. The Lings flood on in. Boys are being pulled. Nice target fire there. But the Banelings, no! Oh, God!
GG immediately called, and there we have it. It is not going to be a 3-0.
Finally, ByuN is punished for his greed. 12-11, not something you see too often, to be honest. But hey, if it works, it works.
And when it works, chef's kiss. It's a beautiful sight to behold.
It was,
depending on your perspective.
Yeah. To be fair, like, ByuN's opener, very rarely do you see it in TvZ. Like, to skip the Reaper and to skip an SCV scout. Like, oh my god.
Especially on such a short map like Curious Minds.
It's very good.
100, yeah. And as we all know, greed is a very deadly sin. Deserved to get punished there by Rattata.
Exactly. Now the question becomes, are we going to see cheese here on now the largest map in this series? You know, we've been on Berlingrad, we've been on Curious Minds, you know, very small, very confined maps. Now, one that is quite large.
Do you really want to know my answer to that?
Who's it going to be?
Yeah, obviously, yes.
Yeah, who though?
Both.
Oh god.
I got a proxy action, 2 proxy barracks. And let's hope my prediction is right, as we spawn into Glittering Ashes LE. We're in the bottom left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom left-hand corner. We have our blue Terran player once again. He's representing Shopify Rebellion from the land of Korea. Hopefully he gets a wallop this time. He is ByuN.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Glittering Ashes LE, we have the Russian Zerg player representing Good Game Gaming, GGG, putting a point on the board and making this a series. It is Rattata.
Already the best thing I think we can see on Glittering Ashes, or at least particularly in this series. A Rax that's being built at home, a hatch that's being built at home. After those 3 cheeses in a row, those are the appetizers. We're finally gonna get, ideally, a bit more of a substantial macro game coming down.
Yeah. I mean, so far this is looking like the main course, and this is what I was hoping for. I did kind of favor the defender here if someone did go for some kind of cheese on Glittering Ashes. I mean, maybe a proxy hatch, but we saw how that worked out for Rattata in game 2, right? So
almost worked.
It did almost work, to be fair. But ByuN still skipping his Reaper, but at least not going straight into an add-on, and at least he is going for an SCV Scout, so he's still playing it relatively safe.
Yeah, not quite as safe as can be. That SCV Scout is a little bit on the late side, but still about the next best thing you can really get when you're going for or when you're skipping out on your Reaper.
Yeah. I mean, ByuN, after losing one game, he's like, who is this guy? I've never heard of him. I've heard of Vanya, but I've never heard of Rattata. I guess maybe I should take this a little bit seriously. Maybe I shouldn't cut as many corners as I've been cutting.
He's like, man, he's reminding me quite a bit of Vanya. Vanya was pretty good, you know? I wonder what happened to him.
True. You gotta wonder if, like, the Koreans know about what just happened, right? Like, about the name change. But yeah, I mean,
I hope they do by now.
Maybe. Well, they're gonna find out after this series, mate. So at least ByuN is taking this more seriously, and we're gonna get something a little bit more substantial. I'm curious to see what Rattata is gonna bring to the table, though, because again, like, sure, we have 2 bases, but that doesn't necessarily mean standard play.
Yeah, he could just straight up opt not to go for a 3rd hatch as he grabs a 3rd hatch. But he could straight up not opt to just not drone that 3rd hatch.
Yeah, there are different styles that you can go for. Because it's a large map, honestly, I'm not really too fond of roaches, but roach play has become a little bit more popular nowadays, so we could see that. We could just see Rattata go just straight up Wing Bane late game into Hydras, into Lurkers, into Vipers. If the game goes on that long, honestly, I wouldn't be opposed to it. We're just speculating because at the moment, like, again, like, everything's looking pretty standard.
Yeah, ByuN finally going for a 1-1-1. I love it. Not quite a 3cc before starport, but this is ByuN we're talking about. He likes to be aggressive. He wants to be active across the map.
This is a very interesting 1-1-1 as well, because typically when you go 1-1-1, you transfer your buildings, your add-ons, and you go into much faster Hellions. But we have a decent amount of Marines instead, and ByuN is opting to go for a bit of a drop. It does get scouted, but again, unorthodox.
Yeah, he's still going for about the same. It's weird saying endgame for a starter, but, you know, his starter is approaching about the same conclusion, right? Cloaked Banshees with Hellions to support, but he also wants to get some Marines to back this up.
Yeah, the Marines come out first, and I love this. He's getting rid of the Overlords. He's denying the creep. He's trying to keep Rattata at home and a little bit unawares of what's going on, because ByuN is going for an armory behind this, so a bit of a hellbat push to help support these Marines. Hopefully, ByuN doesn't lose too many of these Marines before that happens, though.
Yeah, that's going to be his only source of anti-air. Which I guess isn't that big of a deal this early on, but, you know, sniping the Overseer can make a difference every now and then.
Oh my god, speaking of sniping things, we do see him move on forward. The Queen and the main base goes down, as well as all the Lings and the drones as well. Oh my god.
So again, ByuN has found just about the best choke point he can fight in at the moment. The Zerglings just cannot get their damage in quick enough to out-damage the healing. A couple of Marines do go down, but how many Lings have went down in addition to the Queen's? And the drones, which even more, are going to go down.
Yeah, exactly. Like, again, a lot of Lings were already cleaned up earlier. Now Cloak is about to finish up. All these Lings are going down. And where's the detection for this Banshee? Cloak, puppy, Cloak! Ah!
I think I actually saw him cloak it towards the end there, but it doesn't matter. We thought we were going to get a longer game, but we spoke way too soon. ByuN takes that series. 3, 2, 1. Just look at my phone here. And that was it. That was our only TvZ of the evening, so hope you've savored the matchup, what little we had.
GG, well played. What I was going to say is that, like, ByuN's build didn't even come to fruition, which is what shocked me. What I mean by that is that, obviously, the cloak didn't come into play, the armory didn't come into play because he didn't even need the Hellbats. We saw that Rattata was crumbling to just those Marines, and like he was losing far too much of that, and then the Hellions came in, and I mean, you could argue that Rattata was being a little bit greedy there, but at the same time, like, he did scout the drop coming. That's what shocked me, is the fact that he did see the medevac with his Overlord, so he could assume what the build was, obviously not counting the fact that there was an armory behind it, but yeah, he was really lacking when it came to Queens and Lings.
Yeah, now that you mention it, what do you have, like 4 towards the front, towards the end there? But I guess unfortunately he positioned them at the wrong.
They were at the third, yeah.
The third instead of by natural base, which, you know, normally that's where you'd expect the Terran players send their Hellions to, isn't it? They want to poke around at your freshest expansion, see what they can get away with, and you know, if they notice they can't get away with much, they'll go to the natural instead, or try to circle around, clear some creep. But once again, because of how long those Marines survived from the side of ByuN, I think he was able to realize, yep, that's where your Queens are. I know exactly where to send my Hellions.
He just pulled Rattata apart. Despite having those 4 Queens, they were never in the position that they needed to be. And that was it. That was game. 29 drone kills towards the end, and what a series, mate. What a series.
As a Hellion opener, and as a Terran player who loves his Hellion openers, that was a mighty fine barbecue.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it wasn't necessarily a Hellion opener, but it was a Hellion follow-up.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, like, that was...
Hellions came into play.
They did. They definitely did. Congratulations to ByuN. To be fair, he's a world-class player. He was a favorite coming in.
It was definitely his favorite coming in. Even Rattata was saying a little bit like, oh man. I'm a little worried about this particular player, but do not fret whatsoever, Rattata fans, or fans of the player formerly known as Vanya. I did see quite a few of you in the chat. There is a lower bracket.
There is a lower bracket. So all these players that you've seen fall today, whether it's on this channel or Wardy's channel, they're still in this tournament. They still have a chance to redeem themselves and make a comeback in that lower bracket, in that losers bracket. Meanwhile, we've been alluding to it quite a bit tonight, and we weren't looking forward to it.
I think there are some things to look forward to in these particular players, I think, but just the entire prospect of not so much the players, but the matchup, the only matchup that we have left for the rest of the evening. 4 of them in a row, non-stop PvPs.